Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Q1 Town Hall. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Looks like we got about 500 folks on the call this morning. It's really exciting. Appreciate everybody joining us, taking a couple minutes out of their morning. We've got a great presentation here this morning. Couple highlights from Andy Payton to kick us off. Andy Desmond's got some of the financial updates and some of our KPIs to run through. Ryan's got a little hit on safety. And then we'll wrap up with a Q&A. I think we've got a special guest star today too as well, Dan Stoll, talking a little bit about our employee engagement survey and some of the work going on with that team. So really excited again. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Great music to kick this off this morning. So with that, I will hand it over to Andy.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Welcome, everybody, to the call. And as always, just want to start by thanking each and every one of you for the great job that you do to take care of our customers. I know this winter hasn't been the most challenging that most of you have seen. Still recognize that the work that's done every day, it's never easy. And, your efforts are greatly appreciated. I think everybody should continue to feel great about the work you do and what you do for our customers. Whether you work in the field or finance, or you work propane or oil, delivery, customer service, doesn't matter. The work that every individual does in this company contributes directly to keeping our customers, keeping their homes warm, businesses up and running, farms operating, all of those things. So thanks a lot for all that you do each and every day for customers, for the company. Certainly your efforts are greatly appreciated. Today, Chris kind of gave us the agenda, but we're going to take one last opportunity to take a look at 2022 and celebrate what was an outstanding year. Welcome 7 new businesses into Superior Plus in 2022. And earlier this month, we added Acme Propane in Lincoln, California. So those folks are on the call. Welcome. These investments, they've increased the business by about 25%. So about 25% larger than we were last year this time we're having this call. And, I think all of this has gone a long way to establishing Superior Plus as the premier propane company in the industry. So really excited about that. I think the execution was great, just excellent all year long. If you think back a year, we were still overcoming the difficulties that the COVID work restrictions had, driver shortages due to that last winter, the consistent cold that we had in January and kind of through the first quarter of last year, all were challenges. And then kind of getting through the summer, and then kind of fast forward to November, the weather is a little bit warmer. We had to accelerate the delivery schedule, really concentrate on the number of deliveries we need to make each week to kind of get our customers, fully supplied, get those fills, those customer fill rates up to where their in tanks are where they need to be as we head to the winter. So I think the business remained incredibly flexible and responsive in 22, and that contributed us being able to make our budget for the year, which is fantastic. Thanks to everybody for a great year in 2022. And that financial performance that does qualify us for 2.6% profit sharing contribution that will be made to each eligible employees 401k in early March. So I think that's great news for everyone, and just thanks to everyone again for making it happen. So now the switch to 2023, right? And just been some crazy warm weather that we've experienced in January and February. And not sure about some of the folks who've been in the business longer than me, but I've certainly never experienced anything like this. The weather's been extremely warm, and it's really hard for us to react from an expense side to such a warm spell of weather, extended period of weather this time of the year. We still need to have our drivers ready to go, our techs ready to go. We need to be prepared to answer the phones, all those things. So when warm weather comes in January and February, it really is hard for us to recover from. So We have kind of significantly missed our budget for January, and we're going to miss it pretty significantly again in February as well. So we'll have a lot of hard work ahead of us, right? We're going to need to tighten our belts and pretty significant expense side. And as we look at this year, we're probably not going to be able to buy as many trucks as we planned. We're not going to be, we're going to need to find even more ways to increase our flexibility and become even more efficient. But it's going to be a challenge for this year, no doubt about it. The hand we have dealt with the weather in January and February, but just want to make sure like we're all stopping to think like we work for a company that's in really solid financial condition, right? So just like any other challenge, we'll rise to this challenge and hopefully finish this strong March and April. Right now, at least the March. The weather from now to the middle of March looks pretty good, pretty promising. So, maybe we'll see an extra delivery, at the end of this season. And if not, we'll prepare for we'll likely see customers take an extra fill to make up for that fill that they might not have taken. But, in order to get through all of this, right, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to look to further execute on the Superior Way, right? So we'll concentrate on the 4 tenets of that strategy, right? We'll be looking to engage our stakeholders, right? We always want to be engaged as employees. We want to be engaged with our customers. We're going to continue to grow the business, right? We'll do acquisitions. We want to grow organically, and that's a big focus. And going to remain a big focus as we head out of this season. We've got to maximize our operational efficiencies, right? So we've got to get better and better at that. And then above all else, we want to concentrate on safety, right? Safety, I think for all of us, has got to be the #1 priority. I think when asked, hey, what's the most important thing at Superior Plus, I think we got to get to the point that the answer for all of us instinctively is safety, right? We want to create an environment where everyone understands that the most important thing they can do in a day is go about their business without having a vehicle incident, without having an accident, without getting hurt, right? So that's the most important thing. It continues to be. But I think we've been doing a pretty good job. We've demonstrated ability with the Superior Way, served us very well. Our efficiencies improved dramatically over the last few years, right? So as we look to react to this winter's warm weather and head into the spring, unlike a lot of companies out there in the industry, we do not expect to see any massive across the board layoffs or anything like that. Don't see that in the cards. Things can always change, but I don't see that. And we plan to move ahead and provide our merit increases this May. Those increases consistent with the type of increases that we've seen in the past. So I think that's a good thing. And again, reflects the work that everyone's done, particularly in the area of efficiency. Everyone's commitment to Superior Way and engagement that folks have had, and the contributions everyone's made to help identify best practices and kind of move those across the company. So with that being said, I do think, we are facing a significant challenge, no doubt about it, right? So I wouldn't anticipate it's going to be completely a business as usual environment, right? And while spring will bring kind of the typical scale back of the customer service, our flex and seasonal employees taking advantage of our flexible work options to enjoy more time off. We got to look to expand these programs where we can, because not only are those programs helpful for the employees, they're helpful for the company, right? So we're looking at ways to explore the flexibility of everything we do, right? Internal, external surveys have told us that what we've been doing the last couple of years in terms of half-day Fridays is the way industry's going, and it's proven to be very popular. And so we'll look to continue with that program and enhance it if we can. this year, right? So one thing we know that benefits the company greatly from a expense standpoint is last summer, even more so the summer before, it's just been kind of building. But we had our trucks on the road for 4 days a week in the summer versus a traditional 5, save a lot of money in terms of efficiency of the routing and being able to put all of our deliveries on the routes on 4 days and have the trucks off the road, consuming no fuel and preserving the maintenance on the 5th day. So we'll look to expand that, but we'll also need to find more innovative ways to reduce our expenses in the summer, right? When I say that, making clear, we're acutely aware that we can't do that in any type of manner that's going to have an undue burden on our workforce. And our goal is to continue to keep our standing as being the best company to work for in the industry. And as we look to how we're going to tighten our belt, that's going to be first and forefront, first and foremost as well. So when we start to look at what we need to do, and some of these difficult things, I think what folks should look at is we're going to be looking for a broad array of options, right? Include as attractive programs as we can for any employees who would like to take more time off, right? If you've got any desire or feeling you're close to a flex position or something like that, raise your hand. You're the most valuable employees, among the most valuable employees we have, right? So anybody who thinks that might be an option for them, I'd encourage you to look at it. Please don't look at it as a way that we're like, oh, you're less important. It's a benefit to the company. And if it's a benefit to our employees, we want to take advantage of that. We want to encourage it, right? Some of the other things I think we'll look at this summer is we're going to have to be really selective on the open positions that we replace, right? And then we're going to have to organize our work in the most efficient way possible. Really make sure we're getting the best route density. We're consuming the least amount of fuel that we possibly can. Those are the types of things that you should look for. Those are the type of things that we're working on with kind of a cross-functional team right now to say, what exactly is it we need to do as we exit this winter season and look to recover from warm weather. Don't have all the plans in place yet, but I think whatever we come up with, it's going to require a great deal of flexibility from everyone and likely to require some change for all of us, right? So while we can't control the weather, many fronts we can control, right? And broadly speaking, execution on the 4 tenets of the Superior Way, that's what's going to get us through, right? And I think as we exit the winter, head into the summer, we start thinking about growth and retention. We need to talk to all these customers who haven't taken a delivery this year, maybe because of the weather, maybe because of the elevated price of heating oil, for example, and folks switching to other fuel options for the summer. We need to engage those customers, make sure we're still in the mix with them, and they understand that they're part of Superior, and we want to get back to a normal supply situation next year. So retention is going to be super key. I look for everybody to kind of focus on that. Working safely, right? Injuries. We don't want any injuries to happen. We want everybody to stay concentrated, right? Just committing to the Superior Way, I think, is going to be really important to react to the lack of cold weather this winter. And the last thing I leave there is that flexibility, right? I think it's going to be really required. And we're going to ask everyone be as flexible as they can to support the programs that we come out of the winter kind of trying to put in place. So got a lot of work to do in the off season to recover from the weather. It's going to require a great deal of flexibility, like I said, from everyone, and everyone's probably going to see a little bit of change in how we work. But with that being said, just want to reiterate, but where we sit now, don't see any across the board layoffs. We'll see the merits in pay and be consistent with what they've looked like in the past. And we'll continue to look for more ways to drive efficiency. Really look forward to any feedback, input we can get on this call, talking to your managers, conversations with your fellow employees. Anything you push up, if there's any ideas, please do so. I leave it with thanking everyone for fantastic 2022. Thank everyone in advance to your commitment to Superior Way, for your flexibility as we work to it's been warm weather and come out the other side really strong in the fall and ready to head into what hopefully be much more normal weather next winter. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to Andy Desmond. He's going to take us through the 2022 financials, and he'll provide a little bit more detail on the profit sharing payments that was earned with the performance in 2022. So turn it over to Andy, and then we'll all be available for questions.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Andy. And thanks, everyone, for taking the time to join today. So a lot of themes here Andy already covered. So, we'll just dive a little bit deeper on a couple of them here. So first and foremost, great. We delivered the budget, but at least I can show it in numbers here. Andy mentioned the 2.6% contribution of eligible wages based on 2022 performance. So great to hear. This is the highest funding in 3 years. We were a shade over 1% after 20 and 21 results. So, this is significantly more based on 2022 performance. Another important thing to point out on the profit share funding is we've actually made it more flexible for more folks to participate in it. And it aligns with our flex and seasonal workforce, where in the past you had to work 1,000 hours in the year to qualify, and now that's 500 hours. So when you think about 500 hours, that's roughly 3 to 4 months. Anybody working on a seasonal as an employee on a seasonal or a flex program, will be qualified for that in the future. So that was a great feature introduced. And then the other main one is to be on payroll at the end of the year. So great that we have that out there, and we're really pleased to announce that increased funding based on 22. As far as growth, again, the scorecard here is pretty consistent for anybody that's called or listened in on the prior town halls. That's our one that's been a little bit of a challenge. Well, we've delivered our results for the year. Getting that net propane growth has been a challenge, and it's not in red, right? It's in yellow. We didn't get quite to where we expected. With a couple of things, we grew our new customer base kind of as targeted, but did face a little bit of attrition coming out of past customers. So, that's going to be an area of focus into 2023. Andy touched on that, and Chris, as part of the efficiency in our 2023 objectives, we'll be talking about initiatives aligned with customer engagement and digital solutions to address that. Kind of beyond that part of the business, you think about conservation, right? Like building efficiencies, that's going to reduce propane usage. Just the high cost in the market, right? Costs have moderated now a little bit. As we saw costs spike in 2023, inherently something's going to cost you more, you're going to use less of it, right? It's kind of the supply and demand and what people have available funds for. And then alternatives out there, right? Heat pumps, electric, wood, with the high costs and some of the initiatives that are out there on carbon. We've heard it for quite a while. Some of this is truly coming to light. Good conversations with some of the GMs, of what they're really seeing in the region. So these items do create a challenge for the business that may not have been existed as much a few years ago, but it's our new reality, and we'll work through that together. And how do we work through that together to counter that? Well, it's kind of the rest of the items on here. It's our standard approach to the Superior Way. So with acquisitions, Andy mentioned the impact. You know, we had 7 that we completed in 22. That's up 2 more than we did in 2021, so consistent there. Happy to welcome the Acme team in early February of this year. So we've already kind of got the scorecard going in 2023 there. And then from an efficiency perspective, 2 key items that we've been talking about here, like on the Cargus implementation. So finished off Williams Energy in Q4. I think that's where we left off the last time we spoke. And now as we're in the heating season, you know, we pause, you know, like no sense of upsetting anybody's processes, but we got a busy Q2 ahead of us with several integrations anticipated in Q2. And then we'll look to pause for a Cargus system version upgrade in early Q3. And then from an operating model perspective, you know, one of the areas where we really saw great improvement was on efficient and effective customer tank fills. So this is not letting them get down too low, but also, you know, not filling too quickly. Certainly it's tough as you're, you know, looking at a mild start to the winter and some of the activities that, you know, potentially we filled some customers a little earlier, but overall, you know, great progress of following our standardized process that we've set up to get those efficient fills and reduce any potential out of gas situations. So you know, we saw great improvement there. And then as we look during the year, some of the things that have been implemented over the last couple of years with having the dashboard visibility for managers to really focus on some of the key and strategic initiatives that are out there, and they're consistent, right? Like it's not flavor of the day, it's continuous focusing on the few key things that matter. And then as part of the operating model, continuing to refine our approach to the customer, both new and current customers, like offering the digital initiatives and solutions that they're looking for to make it easier for them, you know, streamline the process, make sure that their expectations are met and that we have good back and forth communication. The last one that's on here, and Ryan, no, I'm not going to steal any of your thunder. It's just the transition to the next slide. So safety, great improvement versus 21. And I'll flip it over to Ryan Quiggle, our Director of Safety, to take you through that. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Andy, for that. And good morning, everybody. So yeah, we're going to take a little bit of time here. We're going to focus on safety. So a few things to kind of discuss with everyone. But the first thing we want to talk about is our driver recognition celebration, right? January 25th, we held a company-wide celebration. So it was all done virtually. But then at each one of the locations where we had winners, we had a celebration where everybody got together to recognize the great accomplishments of our drivers in 2022. So when we implemented the driver recognition program, it was, you know, to help us engage and help us improve our performance overall with regards to our on-road, off-road kind of driving record that we have out there. And we had a great success last year. So it kind of celebrates that the fleet safety system. So what I want to do right now is just kind of give another shout out to our regional winners. And then we actually had, as everybody remembers, or hopefully our ultimate winner, which I had the great opportunity to actually be there and celebrate with them. So without any further ado, we're going to go down here. Our regional winner for Mid-Atlantic was Stephen Jones out of the Harrisburg CSC. So great job, Steve. Out of the Northern New England area, we had Robert Anair out of Whitefield. Out of Southern New England, we had Ricky Cordero out of the Oakdale CSC. Out of the New York region, we had Stephen Kuhn out of Woodhall. And out of the Southeast, we had Todd Hendricks out of Murals Inlet. And then out of our Midwest or California group, we not only had our regional winner, but also the ultimate winner of the entire organization. So Mike Leibel. And as I said before, I was able to be out there with Mike and his team and group, and we just had a fantastic day celebrating Mike. And during the process, we had an excellent time celebrating all of our drivers. So appreciate everybody's, participation and focus on this. And we look forward to 23's performance improving and just getting better and improving the program. Next, our PHAs and unsafe conditions, just a little bit on this, right? Our first line of defense out there is our personal hazard assessment. What are we doing to identify hazards when they're out there? And we've improved on that. But also, secondly to that is when we identify these issues, these unsafe conditions, what are we doing? Well, just to let everybody know, from 21 to 22, so last year, we turned in 3 times as many unsafe condition report forms as we did in 21. So 3 times as many unsafe conditions were identified, 3 times as many issues or potential for injury or incident were identified, and we're able to correct those. So continue down that path. It's important that we all take a look at what we're doing every day, day in and day out. Take the time to assess what we're doing, where we're going, what we're doing. And if we identify a problem that is we feel or we see is unsafe and we can't eliminate it, we need to stop what we're doing, and we need to fill out these unsafe condition report forms, contact your managers and make sure that we're working towards that. So, but great effort, and we're continuing to improve the process, and we're going to look, for even greater success here in 23 as we continue to, again, kind of focus on that hazard recognition. Lastly, shared responsibility, right? Safety is that. Safety is a shared responsibility. From our sales group to our finance group to our CSRs to our logistics group, we're all in this together, right? So we need to kind of support each other. And we need to make sure that, sometimes you hear the see something, say something kind of concept that's out there. And we've talked in the past as we kind of are evolving our safety culture to kind of go into more of an interdependent type of safety culture, but what does that mean? And it's really just looking out for one another, right? So as we're out and about, as we see somebody maybe doing something that they shouldn't be doing, or maybe something that's unsafe, maybe they don't know, but let's work on being comfortable to go up to that person and kind of say, hey, maybe you need to be wearing your face shield while you're doing this, or I don't know if that's maybe the right way to do that, watching somebody load or unload one of our vehicles. But then also too, we need to learn to be accepting if somebody does come up to us and kind of say, hey, maybe you need to be doing this. So it's a little back and forth. And I really want us to kind of focus on this and look and learn towards this as we go in through 2023. And we'll continue to kind of discuss this, but it's a huge opportunity. And I think as we continue to build our culture and get into that mindset of being interdependent and, just having each other's backs, right? It's so important. And I think that's going to allow us to continue to have great success when it comes to safety, health and safety here within the organization. So, with that said, I'm going to hand it over to Dan Stoll. Dan's going to continue talking about a little more employee engagement. So thanks for.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. As a member of the Employee Engagement Committee, I'm excited to provide an update on our action planning efforts resulting from our employee engagement survey last March. We have 7 initiatives related to communication and recognition, trust and safety, and goals and alignment. These actions were developed by the engagement team and SLT as a result of your feedback. The goals of these actions is to positively impact the experience and culture of Superior and continue on our journey of making Superior a best place to work. So under communication and recognition, we first have a plan for holding quarterly meetings at each CSC to facilitate open dialogue with your supervisor and coworkers. We've developed a template for supervisors to use with the goal of opening communication between team members, allowing everyone an opportunity to provide feedback in an open forum style meeting. This has been handed off to the general managers who will start to schedule meetings next month. Next, we have regional leadership in-person appreciation events. This is where general managers, regional ops managers, logistics, safety, and HR leaders are going to come out and visit CSCs with the time dedicated to getting to know the team better, share regional highlights, hear about successes and opportunities going on locally, in order to ensure all of our CSCs are engaged with regional leaders. This has also been presented to the general managers who are working on a schedule with meetings starting in the second quarter of this year. We're also looking to increase accessibility to technology in the field. This is a longer-term initiative to improve accessibility to monitors available to everybody in the field in order to better communicate company messages and share information. We are finalizing a survey that will be sent to the CSCs in March to identify what is already available so we can plan accordingly. All right, under trust and safety, we have a plan to hold quarterly safety champion meetings with a goal to elevate our safety culture. Safety champions will get together to identify and share best practices that have worked well to communicate safety initiatives with local teams so that these ideas can be shared and utilized in the CSCs during future safety engagements. This program outline has been handed off to the safety department and meetings are being scheduled starting next month. We also plan to increase participation of support personnel in our operations process. Including members of all the parts of our organization and operations meetings will allow additional perspective for both operations and support with the goal to enhance overall communication. We are in the process of identifying specific opportunities and recommendations to each region and plan to kick this off as we come out of the winter months. Our last action area is goals and alignment. These are longer-term initiatives that are in progress, but will take more time to roll out successfully. The first deals with pricing and value, where we plan to produce information to bring greater visibility to help the understanding of our new customer offers and the excellent overall value that Superior brings to customers relative to our competitors. We have started the process of designing training content in these areas and look forward to finalizing this later this year. The performance management process is also being looked at with the goal to improve the overall effectiveness of the program. The team is identifying areas of opportunity with the performance review process, which should be implemented later this year. So thank you for your time this morning and have a great day. And I will turn things back over to Chris DeFilippo to hear about customer engagement success.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that welcome intro. Yeah, along with everything we're doing to all the engagement stuff for internally, right? Our customer engagement, we've had some great successes. I'm just going to highlight a couple here, but truly we love hearing these stories about great customer service, folks who go above and beyond. Send them in. We'd love to get them. Send them to ask us. Anything we can do to spread that word of just folks taking care of our customers. It's fantastic. Andy Desmond mentioned it earlier, but one of the keys I think for increasing our customer engagement is our digital and online tools. Really excited about our new website at Superior Plus Propane. If you haven't been there, we launched just a couple weeks ago. It goes along with our new customer portal app that launched last year in 2022. These are ways to be more customer friendly, improve our searchability online, help our customers communicate better with us, right? We're giving our customers more information, text messaging right at their fingertips to help them help themselves 24/7. So just some great tools that are out there and getting better all the time, adding new features. It's stuff that our competitors just can't do. They can't offer that to our customers, right? And so it should really help us set ourselves apart from our competitors and deliver, some of that value that Dan mentioned to our customers with those digital tools. And then I just wanted to share really two other, specific customer success stories and customer engagement stories. But the first one was at Camps Jurupa Valley CSC. Jessica Clark, Chris Alvarez, and the whole team there helped get a new 30,000-gallon forklift customer up and running in just 4 days. Something like that takes real teamwork, from digging into what the customer needed, helping them with the paperwork and contracts, and then, getting cylinders and cages on the ground that quickly. So, we talk about great customer success, but that's how you prove it. That's how you earn it. So kudos to that team at the Jurupa Valley at Camps. Just a great job getting a new customer up and going. And then the team at Gas Inc. in Dalton, Georgia, was working with their TSR, Hillary Williams. They also recently brought on a large forklift customer, about 40,000 gallons a year, so just a little bit bigger. Now, this customer, had been working with a large national supplier. They closed their local office, made it impossible to get in touch with anyone locally, right? Our team in Dalton showed what it means to be local, right? Worked on, again, what do you need in terms of delivery scheduling, what kind of equipment do we need to have on site, right? And most important, being right there, being easy to contact, right? That's a win every time. So love those two stories. Those are really great. So nice job, year-round gallons, commercial business on the forklift side. So great wins from those teams. So well done. And we're excited, right? Again, those digital tools for our customers, right? I think there's some folks out there sharing QR codes with customers. Let your customers know, right, that we've got those for them, right? This should be, really easy ways for us to set ourselves apart from our customers. So with that, I hope we start getting some questions in. We always want to hear from you. What's on your mind? A couple different ways, I think, to get in touch with us. A few folks sent us emails to ask us, so we will pull a couple of those out, talk about those first while folks are thinking about some questions. Right from Zoom, you can unmute your microphone. A lot of folks find it just as easy to type it into the chat box here, but also if you click the button down at the bottom for reactions, you can click and raise your hand, and if you do that, we can unmute your line and have you talk and ask your question. Another way to get it through. So we really do. I think this is the best part of these town halls, is hearing from everybody what's on your mind. So while that's going, hope we get some of the questions. I'm going to read one. I'm going to take a look at what came in the town hall questions that we got through email. So one of them, and I think maybe just worth reiterating, so I'll let Andy Desmond take this, but again, just to reiterate, because it came in a couple places, what is profit sharing? What is our profit sharing percentage going to be from 2022?
Yeah, so Andy covered it, and we mentioned it on the slide. So 2.6%. It's highest in the last 3 years. If you do have questions, so the way that works is for folks that have been here 500 hours, worked at least 500 hours during the year, and we're on payroll at the end of the year. There's a couple minor exceptions, but what that means is they'll take your wages at 2.6%, and then that'll be funded into the 401k. If you don't have a 401k currently set up, there will be one set up for you. So it's not something that you could cash out. It won't be in your paycheck. As Andy mentioned, in March, that will be funded into the 401k. And I would say if you've got like specific questions on how you qualify or anything on like your respective calculation, like certainly reach out to HR support. We'll get you the answers that you need there.
Thank you, Andy. So I got another one as folks are starting to type some questions in. I'm going to read another one here that came in into our email inbox. I think this is great. This is, I think, probably on a lot of people's minds, but a question about, legislation, right? Specifically, this question called out the state of New York legislating against petroleum-based heating systems. There's questions about retrofitting to heat pumps and, residential construction concerns and sort of what going on. So, it's something that I'm sure is on a lot of people's minds, right? It was in the news just recently. I spent a lot of time working on this personally, so I'll start and then I'll toss it over to Andy Payton. Maybe he can add something to it. But this is something absolutely that is going to affect us, right? In New York in particular, we have a absolutely huge presence, right? It's one of our largest regions, and these types of things are real threats. I think as an organization that we've done a really good job about engaging with the NPGA, right, on the national level, and they help get in front of legislators and regulators in Washington, D.C. and help us, explain what our industry does and why we do what we do. There's regional groups, PGAIN in New England. A lot of folks are engaged with the New York Propane Gas Association specifically on this. And PERC as well, right? I think, if you haven't been to PERC's website, propane.com, right? Those guys do a really nice job at educating consumers about what some of these things can mean and making sure that our customers and customers everywhere have the choice to choose what heating fuel they want to use, right? It's such a huge part of what this is about making sure that folks have access to energy, that it's affordable energy, that it's equitably available to folks, right? So yeah, there's a lot of question marks out there on legislation, and it's going to be something that we as an industry and all of us need to continue to lean into, educate our customers, educate prospective customers, and work with regulators, locally for things like building codes to state level to national to sort of work through those things. So, Andy, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
I mean, I think you said it pretty well, Chris, and just reiterate, I do a lot of work with MPGA, Tommy Mannion, Jamie Devon's involved. Chris does an awful lot of work with PERC, and all those things kind of, the focus is really that energy choice, right? Trying to work to support folks having the choice of what energy they want to use across the 50 states, and certainly in each individual state. So New York, we're facing some real threats right now. New England, we're seeing those trends. It's really made for a lot of mayhem in the marketplace, right? Heating oil, especially, even before the super warm weather in the first quarter, fourth quarter of last year, we saw these $6 plus prices for heating oil. That alone, very difficult for customers to be able to handle. Folks using alternatives, and then all this legislative support and the government now supporting electricity. But ultimately, what we're fighting for is people have a choice. And if folks truly do have that choice, then I think propane will stand up very favorably. I think oil will stand up favorably in certain places, but there's a lot of subsidies going on. There's a lot of government action trying to make propane and oil more expensive, and electricity seem less expensive. And so that's kind of what we're up against. Seeing kind of things going on in the industry as you trickle down, a lot of things going on in oil with an awful lot of independents for sale in the whole Northeast, and you're seeing consolidation to bigger companies, which might not be the worst thing for those independents and their employees, as those larger companies sometimes have more ability to kind of weather the storm, invest in the assets, those types of things. So keeping our eye on it, working with the industry to kind of fight where we can. But I think a very insightful question.
Yeah, thanks. I think there was a question that came in here on chat, but things like renewable propane, as one of those parts of the solutions. And yeah, I just to speak to that, because we didn't mention it. Good one related to this. But yeah, absolutely, it's going to be a part of the solution, right? I think that's a huge potential, right? It's essentially negative potentially carbon score, right, with some of those things, right? Because you're taking waste products and turning it into a useful product. The team of camps today, is highly engaged in renewable propane because of some of the tax structures that are out in California that have sort of encouraged it. So yeah, I see that as something that's probably going to be, maybe a couple years down the line. But yeah, it's something that as an industry, for sure, there's dollars going into from PERC. There's been funding to research that, and we help sort of guide and influence that through things like that. So that's a great question too. So let me take another question, I guess, coming in on chat here, two here that are related. And please continue to send us questions or raise your hands or whatever else. Maybe a question, maybe I'll start with Andy Desmond on this one. Questions on the fuel recovery fee. How do we look at that? What are our thoughts around that? With diesel costs somewhat coming down, how do we take a look at that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris. Oh,
Got my Andy's confused. Either one of us probably can answer it, but
yeah, you guys pick.
Basically, we are looking at it. It's a good insight. I think as we come out of the season, we'll likely see the fuel recovery fees come down if the price of oil stays down. Price of oil has been so volatile, up $5 range for diesel, $6 range for diesel and plus at the beginning of the season. We have to kind of work through the diesel that we bought for this winter, and as you can imagine, we expected to deliver a lot more, so we've got quite a bit of diesel to get through. But in time, when our inventory costs come down, you can expect to see that fuel recovery fee to come down.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, I think, and I think related to that, there was a question there about, just general, being competitive with our pricing. I know I'll start with that, and maybe, Andy, again, if you want to jump in, but, it's interesting to look at competitive fuel sources through the winter. I know things like natural gas, oil, right, compared to propane pricing has stayed relatively flat for customers to some extent. So it'll be interesting to see, where that ends up. But we do want to remain competitive. I don't know. Any other thoughts? Anyone add?
Yeah, I mean, propane prices actually have been incredibly stable this year. We haven't had to react too much on our pricing since November. So if you look at EIA, it's been very flat on the propane side, kind of not so much the case on the oil side, but certainly being competitive is something we need to do, right? And we seek to do all the time. So we're working on that. Where you don't see that, where you see us out of the marketplace, that's where we talk about the engagement and everything. Raise your hand, let us know, make sure we know. We're always going to be at a premium price to most folks, right? But we can't be totally out of the market. There's a lot of things that I think we do and we should be proud of and we should charge for. And we should be okay with that because, Chris was pointing out a bit about the digital assets that we have and making them available to customers and the things that we can do, not the least of which is, in a cold winter, the access to supply we have, the extent to which we actually go out and commit to taking the gallons. Our customers are virtually assured they're going to get supply when they're doing business with us. That's not the way everybody does business, and people can do business the way they want to. But our business does cost a little bit more to run than the average.
Thanks, Andy. Stacy Huckins, I saw you unmuted. Do you have a question?
Last delivery, yeah, it was the 8th.
Oh. Sounds like she's helping a customer. I'll leave her alone. Andrew, just because you teed it up, thank you for the question about and thank you for the compliment to the new website. Yeah, we're really excited about the new website, the new digital tools. The website in particular, we do see the ability to bring more customers in, do better analytics, be more visible to customers online, help more people find us. And so, yeah, we're going to roll in more and more of our web properties. I think we've got something like 45 different websites that we manage today. So we'll consolidate those in, and I think customers will have a better experience coming to one place. Not to mention, again, those digital tools for them, the self-service stuff for customers to be able to go in, pay bills, place orders, see what's in their tank. It truly is something that sets us apart. And the more that we can roll that out to all of our, all of the different brands and recent acquisitions that don't have those feature sets. We see when customers engage with us and they're using our digital tools, they stay with us flat out, right? So no two ways about it. So the more we can get those in their hands, make those available, promote them, remind customers, it's great. And so that's part of that engagement. So, we'll continue to do that on the website. We'll continue to do that with things like mobile apps and portals. So great, really great question there. Thank you, Andrew, for bringing that one up. I guess, go ahead, Andy.
Looks like there's a question there from Elizabeth Bleckley relative to, how we're looking at addressing filling open roles. And I think that's a good point. And I mentioned a bit when I was talking, but this year is definitely extraordinary, right? And we're going to look to everything we can do to control our expenses for the balance of the year, short of any type of layoffs or salary freezes and those types of things. We want to take those off the table. But what that means is we are likely to see open roles go unfilled for a period of time. We're going to try and move that work around. Has a lot to do with what we've been trying to do with Superior Way. If you're working somewhere and there's an open role that you think is putting undue stress or pressure on the remaining employees, I think raising your hand, talking to your manager, let's get the general manager in there and get a team to figure out, okay, if we need to run shorthanded in one location, what are we doing to get them assistance, and what are we doing to use the backup call centers that we have to support those areas, or can we get some drivers in there from other areas to help alleviate making some of the deliveries? What exactly is it that we need to do? But as we look to get more efficient and tightening our belt, the easiest way to do it is trying to not impact the employees who are here and are working, and try and take advantage of those open roles when we have them. So that is part of the strategy, but we don't want to put that undue stress on the remaining employees. So, raise your hand if there's a big issue with that specifically, and we'll look to deal with this specific problem.
Andy and Steve, I'll point to you two guys. There was a question that came into the email inbox on sort of summer hours and how we're thinking about it. I think related, Andy, to some of the flexibility and some of the things you were just talking about there. I don't know if you guys, any comments on that?
I mean, look, there's more and more in the media, more and more that we're getting, through our customer engagement surveys, and Dan was talking about that earlier, but we see the Friday opportunity as very big for our company, because employees are saying they like having the time off on Fridays. And as I was mentioning, it does have an impact. So, we're trying to figure out how do we take advantage of that without putting an undue burden on employees in terms of forced reduce hours and things like that. We don't want to do things like that across the board. We want people to kind of be working the number of hours that they are used to working, or that they expected to work when they came to Superior, either as a new employee or through an acquisition. But the fact remains, if we can keep those trucks off the road and we can make those routes more dense 4 days a week in the summer, there's a lot of savings available to us. So again, just like the open roles, what we're trying to do is make sure we don't need to lay anyone off, and make sure we have the money available to do merit increases and those types of things. And it's going to be really tough in our industry this year for a lot of companies to do that. We think we're in a good position to do that, but it's going to take a lot of creativity and flexibility around how we take advantage of making our deliveries in the summer as efficiently as possible. And getting those benefits from things like keeping the trucks parked and saving the fuel and those types of things.
Perfect. Thank you, Andy. I think we're pretty close. We're up against almost the hour here, so I know maybe one or two that we missed. But Andy, I'll just give you a chance to wrap up, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if we miss anything, as I said in the past, please push things up to your manager. Push things up to me. My cell phone is 484-302-6117. So anybody has anything you want to talk to me about, need to talk to me about, if there's something going on in your world you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody else about, feel free to give me a call, any of the VPs. What's going to be important, I think, is we push forward, try and recover from the impact of this warm weather over the last couple of months, is flexibility and engagement, right? Everything we've done that's allowed us to be as efficient and improve the efficiencies as much as we have, it's all kind of homegrown, home-baked stuff from within the propane industry, within the oil industry. We've got so many people out there that have been working in this business, around this business for so many years. If we can filter up the best of the best ideas and practices and kind of work to spread them across the business, we can get much more efficient. We can get to the point that it's not as painful to not fill those open positions. And in time, we become a much more efficient, much stronger company. But right now, as I said, notwithstanding the warm weather for the first couple of months, the company's financially solid. We're in a great spot. It doesn't feel so great right now, but we'll get through the summer. We'll be as efficient as we can.
We'll get to the fall, like I said, hopefully we'll have an extra delivery for a lot of customers that didn't take that delivery over the winter. And we'll work to get all the tanks full right before the holidays and come back the next January looking much more in line with what we would anticipate. But thanks again to everyone. The company's in great position. Congratulations again on 2022, and thank you, because I think we did, I think you did an outstanding job with the year, and couldn't be more pleased or more proud to work for Superior Plus. So appreciate it, and have a good day. Any questions, please make sure you're pushing them up and getting them answered. Don't sit on them. Thanks. That's all I got, Chris.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate everybody joining in, and have a safe rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks, everyone.